We're live. Hi guys. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome to a Don't Worry Wednesday. That's a special edition where I'm on the bottom and on top we have Baka. Baka, is there any other name you go by or just Baka?
Online, really just Baka, but
In real life you don't go by Baka?
no.
Man. Wait, is it Italian? Is the two C's really meant to be pronounced as a CH?
I honestly don't know how
I don't know how
in
it ended
Latin
up.
it would be pronounced, but
Yeah, I don't know.
more of a YouTube thing than anything
Oh
that
man.
was actual language.
Yeah, well, geez, the English written language and every other language that uses our letters, not that it's ours, but whatever. It's a hard thing to organize and understand. By the way, thank you, Haley, for showing up. That's so funny. That's okay. Yeah, well, I was late myself trying to set things up. I didn't get here till 10 minutes before, and I didn't have anybody to stream with at the moment, but we got it all figured out. We're 15 minutes late. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Um, I'll do my best to kind of breeze over the intro. Um, but first, how are you all today? Thank you for being here. I see there's actually quite a lot of people here, even though I was 15 minutes late. So you guys are very patient and good to me. Um, this is Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we talk about the problems, the issues, or whatever you're struggling with in life. And you know, we aren't professional psychologists or anything along those lines, but we can give you our best as friends who might be able to walk alongside you for a short period of time and share our experiences and perspectives on not that we know everything, but that we care and we want to help. We can pull advice from you guys, of course, in the chat and from our lives, and I think that that's a beautiful thing. We should all be sharing those kinds of things with each other. I think life would be better if we were a little bit more open about these things, because then it's a lot easier to navigate. That being said, thank you so much, everybody, for your topics. And right now we've got one from Joe Bohan, one from Pear, and one from Baka, which is kind of funny, but we won't be doing that one today, as requested by Baka. Not to do it. And also, it
Deal.
seems that we've got two more. We got one from an anonymous and one from Kat, which is amazing. Since Pear is here and yours is been around for a little while, let's start with yours. But first, Baka, thanks for being here. Baka is awesome. He's been here quite a few times before, and he's been in the chat a lot, and just a really awesome, kind, helpful, good person who wants goodness in the world, and you can see that by the things he pursues in life, and I think that's so cool. But Baka, is there anything you'd like to share about yourself and who you are?
Um, Not expecting that. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, just put you on the spot.
Well, hi, I'm Baka. College dropout as much as that is, but I
Yeah,
look to help bring help more than anything else.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think it's it makes sense when you do like a podcast wherever the host usually introduces the person. Um, then it's not awkward and weird, and you're like, well, now I have to introduce myself, and how do I do that? Um, and also like, how do I, you know, whether you're overqualified or underqualified, you gotta find the right ways to say things. So it's like I don't want to sound like I'm gloating, but I also don't want to sound um like I don't know, like I don't know what I'm doing. So it does make sense that the host would do that. So if anything, I failed at my job, not you. But you did fine. Yep, you are Baka. And are you still in the police force? No, I know you were in college for that, going through training or whatever. Are you still doing
No,
that, or where has that gotten to?
I dropped out. My grades weren't the best.
Fair enough. Yeah, I dropped out of college too after two. My grades were horrible, and on some classes, other classes were pretty good. But I'd like to think that I'm made well of myself despite that. So, um, yeah, relatable. Um, is there anything you're up to now?
Looking for employment
Nice.
kind of has a little to do with my topic, but
Yeah, yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Well, sorry we won't be getting to it today, but maybe, maybe this could be the first episode where we ever actually have a therapist type conversation where we can speak back and forth about a topic, and you can tell me what's going on and I can do my best uh to help. But only if you really wanted to do that. Otherwise we'll continue with the normal sequence of events.
I can stick to the normal show.
Okay, all right, that's
I'm
totally
a
fair.
host. I shouldn't have my topic done.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Well, to me, I think that you are very qualified for the show, regardless of employment or not. Your ability to help and your desire to help has always impressed me. I think it's great that you're here and that you stepped up to the plate. But yeah, sorry, chat. I have been sort of ignoring you, but here I am. I'm looking at you now, and you guys are all awesome. I see there's surprisingly a good amount of people here, so thank you for showing up once again, even though I was a bit late setting this up. You guys are so nice. Yeah, Pear, you are here, and you're going to become a therapist to somebody. Okay, going to become a therapist someday. Yeah, I think that would be so cool. I was considering that for college, and then I didn't pursue it because my friend had done some classes, and I was just like, I don't like what they're teaching you, so I'm just gonna not do that. So that was my experience, anyways. It was kind of silly, but yeah, Pear. You have a topic here for us, and I'm going to do my best to get it started here. I hope that we can do it justice and that it is helpful. Pull this up on screen, but I'm also going to copy and paste this to Baka. So, well, there you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I shall do my best to read this. So I'm going to throw that topic on screen, and I hope. All right. This is from Pear. It has been titled Overwhelmed and Stuck. And it reads as follows. I recently sprained my wrist, and it hasn't healed since when I sprained it, maybe like a month ago. I've also been having respiratory issues since 2 days ago, and when I breathed and choked on my own spit. Oh yeah, well, that's relatable. Done that. Along with these, I have various other issues that haven't gone away after an even longer amount of time. And most of them I probably should see a specialist doctor for, but I haven't yet, and I keep on putting off planning doctor visits. I mentioned this to my friends every day, and in a joking context, but I'm really worried, and I know I need to see a doctor or multiple. And I often try to blame my inability to plan this on my autism/ADHD and shrug it off despite knowing better. I feel so debilitated and angry at myself for from what I'm doing to try to help myself, but everything just feels like too much for just me to take care of. I wish I had other people to help me, but I don't. How do I move forward and just start? I should also mention I lost two beloved family members, my cat and my hedgehog. And everything has been weighing on me so much. From Pear. Thank you, Pear. Thank you for sharing this with us. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry for your loss. I know that that's, it's painful and it's sorrowful. And so I'm very sorry. I hope that it doesn't take too long to recover. Not that they aren't worth mourning over, but I know that it can be one of those things that squeeze out the joy in the day. So I hope you can re-find that joy quickly. I know this was posted like, what was it, a week or two ago at this point? I don't know. Maybe this was a recent one. You'll have to let me know. And yeah, I didn't know you had a cat and a hedgehog. Hedgehogs are adorable. Cats can be cute, but hedgehogs are always cute. So, yeah, I would be sad too, for sure. Um, yeah, hugs, many hugs. And, yeah, I feel for you there. Also, on the topic, more on the topic, this is a thing, you know, we all, at some point in or another, have to embrace adulthood and just saying, all right, I got to make that call. It is what it is. You know, maybe I'm not prepared to make the call. I've never made a call like this before, but you go and do it, right? And the more you do that, the easier it gets, the more natural it comes to you. It feels like a heck of a lot of responsibility and just totally outside your comfort zone at first. But after you do it a few times, it's like, meh, it's nothing big. And so, you know, obviously, I'm here to encourage you, and I would encourage you to just make those calls. Um, and I can talk you through some of what I had to do to get to that point of starting to live more like an adult, I suppose, and these kinds of things. And I'm still learning and doing this. Even recently, I mean, this is currently in a house. This is my first house that you know, and we're buying all these different things for it, and just dealing with all sorts of different things that are new, and having to make calls to, I mean, since I started getting married, had to make lots of what do you call that? Setting appointments and filling out paperwork for the government multiple times in multiple different governments, you know, and just um, going through all of the marriage stuff and then more stuff, and just, you know, there's a lot that you have to do as you grow up and enter new areas of life. And so I think, Pear, it's great that you are where you are. Where you are is so cool. I wouldn't blame it on your ADHD or autism, because what you're going through is literally what everybody goes through. Like, pretty much literally everybody goes through exactly what you're going through right now. Well, everybody that I know. So, has gone through at least some part of this. The longer you shrug it off, the worse you're going to get at it. So, definitely want to proceed with some quickness. But that's all I'll say for now. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Baka has to share with you. So, Baka, if it's all right, the show is yours.
Yeah, so looking at the risk part, I kind of relate to that too, because I think about 2 years ago, I stubbed my toe really bad. I thought it was broken,
Mm.
was pushing it off because medical bills are scary here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it can heal
Finally went,
itself, it's like, yeah, I'd rather do that than fork another limb, fork up a limb. Yeah.
was about a month before I went to get it checked, and like I was scared I broke my toe. It was my
Uh,
big toe too, and I was just like,
ooh,
went in, got x-rayed, came back to me, he's like, nothing's broken, but it's
that's
just a spot where it's hard to rest and it takes a lot longer to heal. And it's ultimately a couple weeks after that, pain went away, and I was like, no. But
yeah,
especially when the pain's there for a while, it gets really stressful, and you think it's the worst. But especially with the wrist, you don't isolate it and rest it a lot compared to other parts.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And so that could be it too, is just it's hard to rest the wrist because you use it a lot during day to day and everything.
yeah.
On the pet part, it sucks losing pets. I had a dog for 12 years that passed when I was younger, and it at first is like, you look at it as like glad they're not in pain, but it's like after a while it really sucks. And it takes some time to move on from that, but always have a spot in your heart and misses them.
Yeah, I mean, I've only had crabs pass away. That wasn't too bad. Um, because they're not necessarily an animal you get so attached with. They were hermit crabs, and they literally did nothing all day, and because they were nocturnal, and during the night, I heard them bumping around in the tank, and that's about all I ever interacted with them. 'Cause, well, that was it. I changed their water, but that was it. um, but I've had a dog, but it didn't pass because someone else took it. Um, not in a bad way, but we gave it away. Yeah, can't relate too much, but I know that it's a tough time for a lot of people. Um, Baka, did you have anything else you wanted to say about um, ways to maybe address putting stuff off or getting to it? Have you ever had difficulties there?
Yeah, I can say I have a lot of difficulties getting to things, and especially with doctor appointments, it's a lot more stress there because it's like you guess yourself. It's like, do I need to go? Do I not need to go?
Oh
And it's
yeah, all
like,
the time.
but I think I'd hate to say this as advice, but it's like it's almost as just good enough to go and get the reinsurement that hey, you went and you have what it actually is rather than not knowing.
Well, that's kind of an interesting thing, because as Per said, medical bills, especially on top of a family already in financial trouble, um, and as you said, that's scary. Um, but at the same time, if you have something that's wrong and it does need addressed, it gets worse. Um, and then the medical bills are even higher, right? Um, that like let's say you have an infection or something, right? And it gets worse and worse and worse, and all of a sudden it's at a point where um, it's lethal, right? And then your doctor bill is going to be way higher than if you had solved it right from the beginning. Um, and the same thing goes for bones, Um, though a lot of times, if you sprain something, I'm not a doctor, but a sprain can be worse than a broken bone if things don't heal over correctly and you don't get them figured out. Sometimes sometimes things heal perfectly and you wouldn't know you ever sprained it. So it's one of those things that, yeah, feels tricky. What you can do is take a little bit of authority over a doctor appointment, and that is to go into the doctor appointment and have them tell you what's wrong, but basically don't, if they start saying, let's schedule for how to fix this and so on and so forth, um, you can sort of just say, well, I'll have to think about that. Please don't set me an appointment up yet. I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do from here. That sort of thing. And they might keep on urging you like, well, you're going to want that, sooner than later and blah, blah, blah. And they will stress that. And it makes sense. It's their job, but they're also caring for your health. And so, but it's important to be able to recognize when people are just trying to upsell you something. They might be like, hey, like for example, this happens all the time. You go to a doctor's office and then you say like, hey, I've got this pain, and they check out the pain. They're like, oh yeah, well, you got some inflammation there. Here's some products that you can use. I'm going to prescribe to you some painkillers and some anti-inflammatory agents to put on that. And then it's like, you pay for those prescriptions and for the appointment with the doctor, but you don't need to, right? You don't need the painkiller and etc. You don't need um, to take those medicines to heal. They just reduce the pain. So it's important to just kind of be a little bit in charge of the appointment. If you like, if your doctor is going to recommend some things, just say, no, at the moment, I think that the pain isn't too bad. I can bear with it. So don't worry about any stuff or the inflammation. I can calm. I can get some ice or put ice on it, or I can do whatever, right? You can find ways to reduce inflammation without products, right? Or, I mean, like literally, you could just take some cloves and rub it into your skin, and that will actually do if you have cloves in your spice drawer. Not that that's a highly recommended use of them, but it would work, at least in some small amount. So, as for the appointments, I don't think you should be too afraid of them because you're like worried about the financial stress. But it's much better to go in and figure out what you've got and pay the amount of just seeing the doctor, but nothing more, so that you can have ease of mind and continue your life and recognize what you should be doing to make sure that you heal appropriately, whether it be lay off your wrists or if you can continue to use them, or if you need to seek a specialist. These things are really important, and your health, your physical health, is probably okay. Your physical health is probably the second or third most important thing about your entire life. If you don't have your physical health, at some point you won't even have your mental health. And so you can't do anything with that, And if you don't have your mental health, your physical health will also be destroyed, right? There's a lot of scientific data out there about high stress levels causing, illnesses within your body. And so if you're stressed over a physical condition or a bunch of physical conditions or mental conditions, right, as well as you had just noted, you're going to have more issues, right? Just going to have more and more. So it's better to go and reconcile your injury and figure out what it is and to have some peace of mind rather than to, make your wrists even worse or your conditions. Maybe, you said you have respiratory issues, right? That could be due to an infection. That could be due to either viral or bacteria. It could be due to a different physical issues like a rupture or a, any number of things. It could be that your respiratory system is over saturated with water, for example, or other phlegm-like materials, right? So you really do want to get that checked out. That one's really important. You lose your respiratory health, I mean, completely, right? You're dead. But even beyond that, you lose your ability to breathe well. You're not going to be able to work. You're not going to be able to get employed to even make money. And your ability to just go out and do things that'll make you happy is going to be heavily impaired. And so if you're looking for a happy, healthy life, I mean, obviously you have to go for healthiness first. Because without health, you can't really be, I mean, you can be happy, but you can be happy without being healthy. I mean, let's just be honest. But generally, your ability to be happy is less easy if you don't have your health. So Haley is going to DM you, and they're going to explain some things, and that's awesome. I think it's important to go to the doctors, and I would highly recommend it, here's the thing, even if at the end they tell you stuff, and in the end, it's like everything you have is going to solve itself if you just give it time. That information alone is more helpful than not going to the doctor, because that will give you some peace of mind. If instead it's like, yep, you've got this issue and we're going to have to send you to a specialist, now you're going to be like, oh no, now I'm stressed out because now I know it's going to cost a lot of money because I have to go to a specialist. Now hold up. Don't be stressed out about that, because the truth is you were going to have to see a specialist anyways. Now you at least know what you have to do. Because before, it wasn't going to solve itself. And it was just going to continue to get worse and worse and worse until you had to see a specialist. And at that point, the cost is even more. So be relieved if they tell you that you have to go see a specialist. That should relieve you, because you're like, okay, the truth is now it's less financially hard. Now that I know the truth. And now I have a way forward to heal, which then I can turn into potentially prosperity for my family, being able to help around the house, right? Especially in financially hard times, that's at least that is useful, right? Being able to help around the house, lighten the load from some other people, maybe so that they can do their jobs better and not feel stressed, so they can do a good job at their job. So all of that is really important, and I'm going to recommend go see a doctor. Now I get it. There's worry of, in this world we live in, of corruption, of pharmaceuticals and all of that kind of stuff. And you know what? True, fair enough. But at the same time, I still believe with all of that, it'd be better to go than not. And if you have a family doctor, that's great, because that's someone that you work with often and you should be able to trust. If you don't have a family doctor, maybe consider asking your mom if you have one, or why you don't have one, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, you said, I just feel so useless right now. I can barely use my hands and can't take care of myself properly like this. Can't drive well, and my friends and family have to drive me everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. All the more reason to go see a doctor. 100% recommend going seeing a doctor so you can have physical well-being, so you can have mental well-being, so you can help people in your life and help yourself. So, you said you need to see a doctor multiple times for multiple different reasons, and that's great. All of this was to reinforce, yes, you need to do this. So on the final note, you said, I feel so debilitated and angry at myself for what I'm doing to try to help yourself, but everything just feels like too much for me to take care of. Okay, so that feeling of overwhelmed, of it's too much to take care of, it's a place you've never gone to before, right? I can talk more on that. But Baka, I want to see, do you have anything you want to speak on that matter, to maybe encourage pair or to give them some tactics on how to maneuver that responsibility in those phone calls and so on?
With
Any
their
life experience?
sprained wrist, I would recommend getting a wrist brace. I wouldn't particularly ice it, because icing it reduces healing, but
It does. Thank you for saying that. And
I would.
I glossed over it when I said ice it, because I was just kind of pointing out that you can do that. But thank you for saying that. That is 100%. And a lot of people don't know that.
Otherwise, instead of icing it, I know they make bean bags that you can microwave that for heating it. Heating actually amplifies blood flow and increases the healing process. Otherwise, I'm not very familiar with what tendons do. I have emergency medical response, not therapeutical.
Yeah, I know. I have no clue about attending. Yeah.
Yeah,
People use
ice
ice
is
for
more
pain.
of pain relief, not healing.
Yeah. If you burn yourself, do not put ice on it. You will thermal shock your skin and it will not heal. And you will actually cause more damage to it. In fact, this has happened to multiple people in my life who have iced it or put cold water on a burn and their skin just falls right off. That's not the appropriate measure. And if you've got inflammation is a sign of there's an issue, probably a bacterial buildup, but it could be anything. And your body is creating a lot of space. So all of your pores are expanding so that all of the healing things you need can rush through there. All the blood can get in there. All of the nutrients can go into that spot and start healing you. So that's why it's inflamed. It's actually just opening up inside so that healed. So inflammation isn't always a bad thing, but inflammation can cause problems. I think for wrists that are broken, maybe you're right. Bag with some. That's not a bad idea. I don't know. Definitely worth seeing a doctor.
Yeah, every time I hear put ice on it, it's like, no, that reduces pain in the short term, but heat's a lot better than ice.
Yeah, you are right about that.
And I hear a lot of people say rice method. It's like, the doctor who coined that came out a couple years later and said it was completely wrong.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it's good that they kind of correct
But
it.
I find hardly anybody talks about it.
Yeah.
And ice is still like the first thing people do to sort things, and like it's like pain relief maybe, but it's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah, it reduces healing. So I want things to heal
Like
fast as possible.
heated cloth or beanbag or soaking it in water would actually help it heal rather than
Good advice. Yeah. Yeah, so you've already got 2 braces on, so that's good. Um, Australian method, go to the pub. Oh, that's so funny. Uh-huh. That's real. That's true Australian advice right there. Um, yeah. So here's what I'll say. Here might be the last thing that I can help with here. So I remember I've mentioned this multiple times. I remember the first time I had to make a call to order pizza. And I was like, I really didn't want to do that. And it was really hard to start. And I told my mom, I was like, because my mom was having me make the order, and I was like, I don't know, like, I don't know how to do that. And my mom was like, just call the people, they'll walk you through it. And I was like, what? Like, just give them a call. Like, like that wasn't good advice for me. You know, just being like, just give them a call. I'm like, okay. So after I sat there and thought about it for a second, I realized something. I realized that this pizza place has probably taken hundreds of calls. And then if I tell them, hey, this is my first time calling to order pizza, I don't know what I'm doing, can you help me? All my problems will be solved as long as I'm just humble enough to make that statement. And so I gave them a call and I told them that. They said, hey there, this is, I think it was Pizza Hut or maybe it was Domino's. No, probably Pizza Hut, or Little Caesars or something like that. It doesn't really matter. And they said, hey, what would you like to order? And I was like, actually, I don't know what I'd like to order. It's my first time ordering pizza. And they said, okay, that's great. Well, how many people are you ordering for? I said, oh, okay, so me, my friend, and my brother. That's 3 people. And they're like, okay, cool. And you guys are teenagers? And I was like, yeah. And he said, okay. All right, well, I'd recommend this size. And what do you want on your pizza? And he was patient with me, and I was like, I gotta find out. And then I asked people, and then I told him, and he said, okay, yeah, so blah pizza with a blah on it. And I was like, yeah, that sounds right. And he said, okay, cool. What we're gonna do is we're going to put that order in for you, and we're gonna just deliver it to your house, or or are you having someone pick it up? And I was like, deliver it to my house. And he said, what's your address? And I'm like, hold on, I gotta go outside and figure out what my numbers are. And he's like, that's okay, take your time. And then I went outside, I got the numbers, I came back, and I told him the numbers to the house and the address. And then he's like, okay, great. So this is your address. This is the pizza you ordered. We'll be delivering it in about this many minutes. I would recommend giving a tip of, $5. And I was like, thank you. You're awesome. And he's like, you're awesome. All right. Have a good day. See you in a little bit. Basically, he doesn't see me. Gave the pizza there. So my point is, that's adulting. That's adulting. Being humbled enough that you realize you don't know what you're doing, and you ask questions, but being confident enough to make the call. Or rather, not confident, courageous enough, right? Because courage is needed, not confidence. You don't have confidence. You have fear and courage. Courage is what conquers fear. So, but courage doesn't exist without fear, right? So what I'm saying is you just have to have the courage to make the call, and it's going to be super awkward for you, but on the other end, they're not feeling awkward at all, and it'll be easy for them to walk you through it. And when it's done, it'll be like, wow, that wasn't so bad. And then you make your next phone call to make another appointment. And you go, okay, you know what? That wasn't too bad. There's a lot of questions there that they asked me I didn't know the answer to, but we got it figured out. And so as you do this, more and more and more, it gets easier and easier. And at some point, you're just like, oh, I got to make a phone call to a company? Easy, boom, let's do it. And that's not a problem. But at first, yeah, you have someone walk you through it. and you have to be the other person on the other end of on the other end of the phone. So when you're making these appointments, just dial in the number, count to 5, and press that button. Okay? Count from 5 to 0. You go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and you press the call button, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm in it now. Oh, here I am. Okay, well, I'm in it now. And then they say hello, and you're like, hello, and they're like, welcome to blah blah blah. This is, or whatever. They don't say welcome, but they say this is blah blah blah, and we're here to do this kind of thing. What can I do for you today? And then you just, I don't know. I'd like to make an appointment because I have a hurting wrist and I've got respiratory problems. And then they're like, okay, great. And then they'll schedule it for you, and it'll be easy as that. And you'll have to work with them because obviously you'll have to pick a time that you're available, but regardless, it'll be as easy as that. You just press that call button and you let whatever happens happen, and you don't back down. Don't back out. Feeling counting to 5 gives you time to back out. Okay, if you're not that kind of person, just press the button. Just dial in the numbers, look at it, make sure it's right, and press the button, and don't back down. Don't back out. Let it ring. Let it answer, and then just let them know, like, hey, this is my first time calling to make an appointment. What do I do? And they'll walk you through it. Simple as that. Hey, this is my first time making a doctor's appointment. I don't know what I'm doing. Would you help? And they'll be like, gladly. Here you go. So yeah, don't overcomplicate it. You don't have to tell them everything that's wrong with you because they're going to need to hear that at the doctor's office anyways. But just tell them, like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is my first time. Would you help me? Oh yeah, most of them are automated. Yeah, that's true. And if they're automated, just listen to what it says, and yeah, just press buttons. And if you're like, I don't know which button to press here, press one of them. And then if it's wrong, just hang up and try again. I've had to do that recently. It's annoying, but yeah. I've found that in most cases, here's a little trick. Here's a little snippet of information for you. In most cases, if you call a company and it's automated, if you don't say anything for long enough, it will ring through to customer support and you'll get a person. That's about 90% of companies. So I can't guarantee that'll happen for you. Some of them might just turn off. Some of them, it's like this. You make a call. Yep, you hold 0 and see what happens. Some of you make a call, you press a number, and then like you press the first thing that you need. It's like, if your call is about blah blah blah, as long as it's not like if you want to speak to someone in Spanish, just don't press that button. But if it's like if your call is if you're looking forward to making an appointment, press blah, and then you press it, and then you just sit there and you wait, and you don't type in any more numbers. Eventually, it'll probably ring through to customer support. Most of the time, that's what happens. Yeah, most of the time the numbers don't mean anything. Just goes right to the person. Yeah, that's my experience with a lot of times as well. A lot of times those numbers are just trying to figure out who do we want to give this phone call over to. And pretty much anybody in the company can handle the things at the doctor's office. And if it's not someone who can, they'll transfer you. So it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it too much. Yeah. So that's my advice.
I've also seen some clinics go to online scheduling too, which is kind of weird.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some
Where
of them
you
are
can
online.
just go online, fill out information, and then holds that time for you. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I got in for my appointment.
Yeah. And what you said above also is good. Don't sugarcoat it. I need these days off for a doctor's appointment. Yeah, you just say it. You don't need to say more than that.
Most businesses aren't looking for an excuse. They just want to know why.
Yeah.
And majority of the time they'll say, yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, sometimes they'll ask you for what, but if you're a jerk, or it's really it's really embarrassing or personal, you can say that's confidential. You can say I don't really want to talk about it. But
a
generally,
lot of the time they'll ask for a note too, saying,
yeah, some of them might ask for a note.
Did you actually go to a hospital?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, perfect. You already sent in a doctor's note. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you've been down the road a little bit. So, if you're just worried about procrastination mostly, like you've done these things before now, and you'll get more used to it as you do it more. And I understand the fear of finances, and I think just don't worry about it. Health is more important than finances. What are finances for? I mean, they're for a lot of things. They're for your health, is one of the things. So, to use finances for health is an appropriate use of finances, right? Even if finances are tight, even if you're struggling, even if you're in debt, right? It's like, well, yeah, you're gonna need it. And yeah, so I would recommend go to the doctor. Don't worry about the finance stuff right now. You can do your best at the doctor's office to say, well, I don't need this treatment. I don't need that treatment. I know I can heal without those things to reduce the cost. And I would recommend it. But yeah, seeing the doctor and getting some information on what's going on is really important. And then for the procrastination bit, don't blame it on your ADD or any sort of autism or anything like that. We almost all of us deal with that. Procrastination is a skill you get over, not a skill. It's a virtue you learn the opposite of. I don't know. It's an anti-virtue, whatever it is. Anyways, procrastination is something that all of us have to deal with in life, and the more we don't procrastinate, the better we get at not procrastinating. I mean, it's pretty simple. So I would, if I were you, tomorrow morning, wake up, give them a call, if that's available, or at whatever first available time slot that they're open. Maybe it's after you're done with work or whatever for the day. Give them a call relatively immediately. Maybe it's right when you get home. You give them a call, right? But just give them a call. Don't put it off. And don't blame that on your ADHD or your autism, because that's not appropriate and helpful to you. Because even if it is the fault of those two things, if it allows you to blame stuff on, like if you're allowed to blame stuff on your autism or ADHD, at some point you get into the habit of saying, well, I don't need to be that good of a because you can blame everything on your autism. Like, oh, I was kind of mean to that person, but meh, it was probably because I'm autistic. And it's like, well, yeah, that's fine, and it might be true, but you still need to apologize. You still need to rectify that. You still need to become a person that doesn't do those kinds of things to the best of your ability, even if it might be due to autism or some way that your family raised you or whatever it is. We all have our excuses and reasons for bad behavior, for sure. It doesn't mean just because we have something to blame doesn't mean we should not take action on it, right? And so that's the only reason I say, try to do your best not to blame it on your ADHD or any sense of autism, because even if it's true, it isn't necessarily super helpful. That's all I got to say on that. Baka, do you have anything to say on that?
I mean, the more you blame something, the more you start to believe in that
Oh, that's true.
that reason why.
Yep. Yeah, it was self-toxic too. Blame your disorders. Yeah.
It's really how I procrastinate a lot. I was like, the more I go, I can do it later. And it's just like the more you start to believe in that, and it's like, then you get to it, and it's like, I could not have done this later. I need to do it now.
Yeah.
And then you struggle.
Oh, for sure. Sure. When I was a kid, I didn't procrastinate as much as I did as a teenager. For example, I learned it. And then as an adult, I had to do better to procrastinate less. And I still do it from time to time. And sometimes I'm doing a good job in not procrastinating. Go both ways. So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still getting better. And Pear, that's absolutely appropriate and understandable. You know, you just spend more time trying to understand yourself than trying to make it better. And I respect that. I get it. You know, when you don't know what's wrong with you, when you find the diagnosis, it's very relieving. and it just relieves a lot of stress because now you know that there's something and that you're not crazy and like it's not your fault. And so that feels really good. It's like the sensation of, I don't know, like when you're really hot and you get cooled down, or when you're really cold and get warmed up. It's a relieving feeling that feels really nice, you know? And that's the way that some of those things work when you finally get that diagnosis of, hey, this is what's wrong with you, and it's the thing you can blame for all of your bad relationships or whatever, right? You didn't do so well in school, but it's not your fault. You had ADHD and you didn't know it. You know, things like that. It can be really relieving, and that's good. It's good to know what you have to deal with. It's good to know who you're working with, right? Because we all have those kinds of different things, whether you're autistic, ADHD, or not. We all have mental issues that we have to work with on a daily basis. Even the most healthy of people mentally have things on a daily basis they have to deal with. And so it's a great relief to find that those are, and now you know what you're working with. So it means you have a better ability to work with it, to fix it, or to adjust it, or to adjust your behavior to consider it while you're interacting with people, and so on and so forth. So it's good. It's super good to understand yourself. Super, super good. But don't let the feeling of relief keep you from, and don't chase after that feeling of relief. It's good to have that feeling of relief, but don't chase after it because it's sort of a nice experience, right? But don't chase after it because it leads you down a rabbit hole of, well, toxicity, as you very well know, Pear. So, and you don't need me saying this. I'm just giving you the advice you already know, and I'm just repeating the things that are already in your head. So, yeah, I think it's important to continue to, refine yourself, even now. Continue to learn about yourself. Very awesome. Nothing wrong with that. Just don't chase after the pleasure of finding something to blame all of your problems on, because it is a nice pleasure, but it isn't one that helps find happiness. Right? Pleasure and happiness are two separate things. And sometimes pleasure can get in the way of true happiness. I think as we all have experienced, especially when it comes to creating bad habits. So that's well. And with that, we've talked 30 minutes on it or more. Any final thoughts, Baka? By the way, you guys in chat are so awesome.
I believe I've said everything I have.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's great. Thank you. And again, Baka, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And that really is helpful. And I appreciate it.
Woohoo, the one time I checked Discord.
Yeah, that's amazing. I guess it was fate. I think, Baka, usually you have a video on, and sorry if it's not super entertaining this time with changing screens and so on. I just figured I'd leave it on this, which has me in it this time. But Baka usually has video, but he just doesn't have a camera right now. Is that right?
Yeah, my PC doesn't have a camera.
That's fine. So we're just rolling with what we were able to do tonight, and I'm just really appreciative that you're all here, even despite the delay. So, but I think I know why. It's because Baka's here. You all showed up for Baka. Baka's awesome. Yeah, as Super Neon Blue said, absolutely. It is okay to feel nervous and weak and useless and all of that. Yep, but persevere regardless towards mental and physical happiness. Absolutely. I just want to say that again, it is completely okay to feel nervous, weak, and useless and all of that. In fact, a lot of times those are the things that help us the most. When you feel useless, that feeling, that sensation means that in your head, something isn't, how do I say this? There's a necessity of humility that needs to come into your life. Being humble, right? If you're feeling useless, a lot of times it means you're not humble enough, and that's okay. Sometimes we just don't have a role to play. And that's okay to feel useless. Sometimes we're just not as good as other people. We might feel useless. That's okay. Sometimes we are in a position where it's like everybody's carrying me through this experience. You know, I'm over here doing nothing while everybody else is making the phone calls or making the judgment. Or even in a video game, you might be like, oh, I'm no good at this game. It's this other person that's carrying me through the game and making it successful, but I'm terrible at the game. And you might be having a really bad time because of that. I remember I've had that experience. And I recognized that was a problem of humility. I needed to not see myself in the way I saw myself. If I saw myself as useless, I'm seeing myself. If I'm seeing myself as useless, I'm seeing the scenario wrong. I have to recognize, of course, I'm not going to be always the one that's capable of stepping up. And it's okay that other people step up in my place. It's a beautiful thing. Especially when I'm weak. It's a beautiful thing that people would go out of their way as an act of love and kindness to even assert themselves to help. That is a act of love on their part, and I should no way feel like I should diminish from that or take away from that. I should just be thankful and be like, and rejoice in their love and their givingness and their generosity, right? Because that's a charitable thing. And we need to recognize that it's okay that we are all charity cases. In some field or another, we are a charity. We all need help, and we can receive help and love from others, and it's a beautiful thing. Without that, there would be less love in the world. So your weakness is basically, your weakness can be somebody else's heightened state of an act of love. That's a beautiful thing. There are times where you will be the one that loves on others because they are weak. And there will be many, many, many times for that for you, Pear. Because I know you as a person and you've already been that kind of person. But also, if you're shooting to be a therapist, well, I mean, that's going to be your job. You're going to be doing that all the time, right? Here's the thing. All of this is preparing you to be a better therapist. Because if you recognize yourself as weak, that's a good position to be in as a therapist. Because if you never considered yourself weak, then you don't relate to your clients. Not only do you not relate to your, it's like, I don't know how to say this. If you look down upon yourself when you think that you're weak, that is not fair to your clients, because that means you should be looking down on them as well. Right? Treat yourself as you would treat someone you love, right? And so, especially your clients as a therapist. So it's like, if you look down on yourself because you consider yourself weak in a particular field, it means that you're going to be looking down on other people, right? Who are weak in their difficulties. So if you can learn to look at yourself and see your weakness and not despise it, if you can look at your weakness and not despise it, you will be someone who can interact with people in their weakest moments. Don't be afraid to be nervous. Don't be afraid to be useless. It's okay. Yeah, Miyamoto is also planning on being a therapist. Maybe you guys need to share notes. That's so cool. I love therapists. It's so cool. People who go into the field just to help others. Very cool. Did I freeze? Hopefully I'm not frozen.
Did freeze for a while. I'm like, did my internet go out?
Oh no. Well, was there any audio coming through? Was there, when I was frozen, was there audio coming through or no? Was it just quiet?
It was quiet for me.
It was quiet for you? Okay, well. Man. No, it was buffering. Bummer. Okay, well, what I was saying in short was, look at your weakness and don't revile it. Because if you can look upon your own weakness and not revile it, not hate it, but recognize it and maybe even to some extent rejoice in it, that's the kind of humility you need. Because if you can do that, then as a therapist, you'll be phenomenal. You'll be the best therapists you can be. Because like you're dealing with people who are in their weakness. You are dealing with people in their weakness, in their weakest points of their lives. And if you look down on yourself for being weak, then it might lead you to look down on others when they're weak. That would be an awful, awful time. And so if you don't look down on others who are weak, then don't you dare look down upon yourself. You should look at your weakness and hold it high, because your weakness is what shows you it's okay to be where you're at, and you can move forward regardless of it, and you're a perfectly valuable person, and all of that. And also, weakness is a chance for other people to show their love. When you're weak, others can show you their love to help you out. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's what you're going to be doing as a therapist, right? So hopefully that's that shortened version of the speech wasn't too repetitive or something you already heard. But there you go. It's okay to be weak. It's okay to feel useless. It's okay to be nervous. When you're in those positions, don't revile it. Don't dislike it. Don't hate it. To some degree, embrace it and just go like, yeah, but I'm weak here. But I'm not going to look down on myself. I'm going to see how far I can go with it. I'm going to improve. Yeah, I'm nervous, but that doesn't mean that I have to be here forever. And nervousness isn't a sign of being unable to move forward or that I can't do it. I'll just be nervous and do it. I can both be nervous and do this at the same time. So I'll just do that. I can be nervous and do it, right? And if you feel useless, that's okay. That's completely okay. Everyone's useless in something, you know? And we all have to learn. So I get that as as someone who's autistic. A lot of times entering new territory that isn't comfortable is a little extra hard for you. But don't let the extra difficulty get in the way of your incredible gift, because I know quite a few autistic people in life who are gifts, and they bring about an incredible amount of good and ways of looking at scenarios and coming up with answers that I would never think of. And that is a huge gift. Just because things are more difficult for you in some areas and easier for you in others is not a good reason to not try, right? In fact, it is a good reason to try. So that's what I got. I know I've talked now an extra 13 minutes on it. Hope that's okay. Here, you're amazing. We love you. And we thank you for being here, and we thank you for your topic. And I look forward to you and your journey in becoming a therapist, as well as Meowvados, because I'm excited to see who you become. And I'm excited to see who you help and how you help them become greater people through your time and your charity and your love and your graciousness. Beautiful. So yeah, hugs to all of you guys, and hugs in the chat. And yeah, thank you. Sorry if that went on a little long, but there we have it. Baka, thanks for bearing with me. I'm gonna mark this as done, finished here. All right. I'm gonna look up. I'm not looking straight down, and you guys see just my hair. That was one from Pear. I'm going to mark it as date answered. That's today. We answered it today. Did it. And it is now answered and complete. Perfect. Now, let's go on to the next topic. So, the next topic, we have two we can do right now. We have an anonymous one. Actually, three. Wow. You guys are 4? Okay, hold on. 1, 3. 3, okay. 4 including Bagas. You guys are sending them in this week. Thank you. We have an anonymous one. And they have no preference of whether they want to be here or not, which makes sense because I wouldn't know if they work, so they're not. We got one from Cats. We got one from Ken. 8 minutes ago. And are any of these urgent? Let's see. Ken, if you would you say hello in chat? If I know you said no preference of whether you wanted to be here or not, but I'm just trying to. If you want us to know who you are, that'd be cool. And if you don't, I won't be able to talk directly at you in the chat, but that's okay too. None of these are urgent, it appears. Okay, you want to share something before the topic? Yeah, go for it, Miyamoto. Oh, Kentaro. Okay, that makes sense. You're here, but no preference if you do it today. Okay. Well, Kat is the only one that has preference here. So, Kat's is a long coming member here every week. But out of that loyalty is I'll give you this one. Moment. Sorry about that. That was my fault. I accidentally was moving things around on my desktop, and have you ever done this? You move things around your desktop too quickly, and then all of your tabs just minimize? Well, that's what happened. We're good. Mialado said, I wanted to share everyone, especially Steady P. I watched Criminal Idol with your boyfriend today, and it was so meowsing. It was his first time experiencing the videos and the songs. Oh, that's so cool. Well, did they enjoy it? I hope that they had fun. You know, it's not one of those things that I ever thought about, people sharing it with their friends and going through the entire journey, one episode after another. I mean, that would be like an hour and a half or something, maybe an hour and a half long. But that's awesome. Nice pair. Yeah. Yeah. How did it go? Did you guys enjoy the experience of, I guess, watching it together? Yeah. Oh, you're continuing. You got to type it. Cool. In the meantime, Cats, I'm gonna briefly, do my best to curate yours while Mialado does the briefing. Because at the moment, it has no title, there's no topic summary, and it's just a wall of text. Oh, it's not too big, but do my best. So bear with me for a moment. Oh, you should, yeah. That sounds awesome, Pear. Do it. Oh no. Jeez. Cats. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting this. Okay. I am so sorry. That was intense experience that just went through my body and brain reading this. So, every blessing possible to you. We'll get to this topic. Okay, okay. Okay. Great. Let's see if I can condense this to the topic summary. Ah, it fits. Awesome. Okay. Okay. There we go. It is all set. Sorry about that quietness. Baka, why were you not entertaining them? Sorry, I'm kidding, by the way. Uh, okay. I think we're ready. I can... All right. I will continue reading what you were saying. Mialado continues, saying, we watched all season 1 in one sitting. Wow, nice. And we talked through each episode after watching. Wow, that's cool. After episode 0, we rewatched episode 0 to read all the things. We got so into it, he really likes it. Ah, that's so cool. Thank you, Mialado. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. I hope that it is impactful and really, really for both of you guys. That's so cool. Ryan, you have a question. Also, Meow, that's beautiful. Pierre, what's your question? Mialado says, I hadn't listened to it in a while and I hadn't watched the videos in even longer so. Oh, in even longer. So it was cool. It was so cool. It was awesome to experience him experiencing it for the first time. Yeah, isn't that so cool to... I mean, not after having done that a few times with people, I can see why my mom always just loved experiencing her children experiencing things. Because, like, as a kid, you don't quite understand that. You're just like, you're enjoying it. And if you have a friend to enjoy it with, that's cool. But, like, later on in life, you start to, like, find this joy well up within you when you just get to watch other people in their excitement and joy about something, even if it's something you don't even know or care anything about. Just watching them really be interested in something and giving it their all or whatever. It's just like, that's so cool. And it feels amazing to watch people do that. I love sharing. Is season 2 out? And if not, when will it be? Season 2 is not yet out. Earliest time it can be out is in about a year from now, but that's pushing it. I would say a year and a half or 2 years, unfortunately, might even be more realistic. I know it's been years already, but the art has been delayed for a very long time. It's in motion, but there's a lot of it. And then on top of that, there's some animation and some things that need to be done. There's still a decent amount of lyric writing that I have to do, but a lot of these things can be done, well, that can be done at the same time as the art. But mainly, the main thing we have to wait on is the art, so we can begin animation. So that after the animation is done, I can begin writing some of the music, the backtracks, and so on and so forth. So, with all that said, I don't think I can promise anything sooner than a year and a half. Even though the art now at this point is somewhere between half to 3/5 of the way done, I would say. The art might be somewhere in that ballpark of being done. And all of that got done within about, well, most of that got done in, I would say, a little under a year's time. But because it really doesn't take too long to do the rest of the art, it just takes a couple of months of dedicated time. But the people that are doing the art have jobs or other responsibilities. So yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you're gonna leak it right now. All right, cats, have fun. One more note from Mialado. You say, I've been feeling very anxious and depressed lately. Been having a hard time. Watching Criminal Idol with him got me feeling so excited and joyful and like feeling the feels. Ah, that's so awesome. I am so happy to hear that. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life, Mialado. I really sincerely appreciate that. And thank you for saying that. That warms my heart. And I hope that that continues to happen for you and that the rest of your day and days going forward are filled with good feelings and less depression as go on. I know that depression is hard to overcome, but Mialado, you're amazing and you're gonna do it. Sure of it. But I'm so happy that that could be like an oasis in your desert, if you will. Yeah. Sorry about all these questions. We're almost done. We can get to the topic for your topic soon. Said, I'll also say Sadik and his work has helped me through many hard times. He's a beautiful person that inspires more beauty in this world. And that's the kind of person I want to be someday. Here, I think you're already that kind of person. And I just inspire you to keep on going, keep on growing, keep on moving, because you're doing awesome. And I really appreciate it. You guys are so good to me, so kind. I love you guys, and I appreciate your love. Yeah. Help out with Criminal Idol 2 at the moment? No, unfortunately, not at the moment. If there's anything that opens up, I'll post it, but I don't think at the moment. Criminal Idol at this moment is kind of sealed. It's sealed shut for the next whatever, like year and a half. And pretty much we've got everything in order. We just need to do it. And the people that are doing it are already doing it, and yeah, they're Navy sealed. That's right, cats. So, aw, hey Argus Stars, I love you. Oh, am I freezing again? My
Does
audio
look
coming
like you
through?
are frozen.
Okay, well, is my audio coming through? At the very least. Hello. Okay, why is it frozen? Let me try something. No.
I would assume audio's going through.
Yeah, audio's good. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna break my OBS, so bear with me. My world. Okay, doing it. All right, that's done. Where is my Discord? Okay. Wait, what? Can you hear me? Are we still on? Okay. You hear me, but you're not gonna hear. Oh, there you are.
Oh, were you asking me if I could hear you?
Yeah. I was asking you. I thought the whole thing was dead.
Oh.
Okay. I sincerely. What? I cannot find my Discord. It is completely gone. Oh, here it is. Oh, found it. Great, got it. Okay. Wait, now I'm going to video back on. Hope that fixes things. Find out. Sorry about all the technical difficulties today. Very strange. Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, I got that one up. Let me get the other one up. The one that looks frozen all the time anyways. Okay. Here we are. Let's do this. Let's go back to this. There we go. And okay. And I fixed it.
I see video again. Woohoo.
Great. You borrowed my August. I love you. Okay. Yeah, I remember that pair. I remember that. Yeah. Cool. We've got movement, we got audio, we're back in business, and now finally, Kat, so we can do your topic. I'm gonna go ahead and put this topic on the screen for you all, and you can feel free to read along. I'm gonna also share this co-host today, and there you are. Okay. All right. And now, yeah. Okay. Cool. Now this. Sorry about that. There we are. Okay. Cool. Here it is up on the screen for you guys. Feel free to read along if you so desire. This one is from Cats. I've titled it "Positivity and Rolling Through the Punches." Reads as follows. Some people in chat already know, but my partner was recently diagnosed with stage 1 thyroid cancer. Fortunately, since it's early on and a cancer that typically is not life-threatening, we are optimistic about treatment. I feel like I'm generally good with staying positive in these situations, but I'd love to hear your perspectives. How can you stay positive when you're faced with a bunch of kicks to the face? How can you be there for someone who is going through a rough time, medical or not? Any and all thoughts, I'd love to hear them. From Cats. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this question, Cats. Thank you for sharing your life with us a little bit. And that is very relatable. It always seems to be that life hits you hard. Like as soon as one brick comes down, a bunch of them come down at the same time, and everything hits you at once. And it can be a very trying experience. And how do you stay positive through that? And I've got some thoughts and tips and tricks on that. Hopefully really good ones. At least they're ones that I noticed helped for me a lot. Of course, everyone's different. But all I can do is give you my best and my perspective. So with that, I'm going to give you the Baka perspective. Baka?
I'm sorry, I'm reading the question.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, by the way, much love and blessings and hope and prayers for your significant other. That is a rough thing. That's why I said when I read it, I was like, "Whoa, that hit me." I wasn't expecting to. I wasn't expecting to see that. So all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, whoa, serious." But I'm so happy to hear that at least you caught it at the beginning stages, and yeah, things are looking up there. So just do everything, do everything you need to do, and obviously, one thing you can do to help him is participate in his life in these things in the manners that he has to participate in them. So if it means, leukemia, no, geez, what do you call that process where you basically kill your body by poisoning it and then heal? What's that called right now? It's gone from my tongue. Anyways, if you have to go through that chemo, thank you, chemo. If he has to go through chemo, right? There are things you can do that participate with him that show your support. Thank you, yeah, chemotherapy. Or just living that lifestyle together, recognizing like, oh, we might have to change what we have to eat, and we'll do it together. It's a beautiful thing. And so I would say live out the experience with him and making the accommodations that you can, because that's a really nice way to support someone. And we all know that in any illness, and especially cancer, having that joyful community with another person, that camaraderie, that encouragement, that good relationship usually tends out to produce better results in recovery than obviously the opposite, or loneliness and so on. So just encourage you to, yeah, you're already doing, yeah, I figured you would. I just basically I'm encouraging you to continue doing it, because I'm sure that was already going to be on the table for you. So yeah, finding foods to improve his diet, awesome. And no shame in cooperating unless you've got your own diet that you need to follow. No shame in also being like, hey, let's do the same thing. Obviously, I know you guys aren't together in the same room, but you can be enjoying those things and just sharing your experience about those things since you're both on. But yeah. I'll step back out of the way. Baka, I want the Baka perspective. This final part. Yeah. How can you be there for someone who's going through a rough time, medical or not? And also, how can you stay positive when faced with a bunch of kicks to the face?
Yeah, well, everything kind of adds on. It's kind of hard to stay positive, and
Isn't it? Yeah.
I can't relate to. Actually, I can with my dad. A couple of years before he passed, he had a flesh-eating disease in his legs, which I think
Oh.
I from my perspective, I believe that had something to do with why his kidneys failed, but
Wow.
which it was kind of hard seeing his health go down. It sucks. Even that, and now when I'm looking for a job now, it's just like everybody keeps ghosting me on things, and I'm like, yay.
Ah, that's awful, man.
But that's for my topic next time. I can wait for that. But
Yeah.
staying positive is when you keep getting kicked in the face. It's hard, but you have to look for the outcome. The outcome of when things succeed. Hopefully, in your case, I hope he recovers from it. But it's like just looking for the outdate and going through the everything with him is help. Keeping positive attitudes about it. Stage 1 thyroid cancer isn't the worst cancer, but it still is cancer, and any medical thing can suck.
Oh, for sure.
But really looking up, I am word vomit. But looking for the outcome of it, but through the journey is the best place where you can connect with each other and hopefully you get the outcome you want. Why is my brain going blank?
Oh, it's okay, man. Take your time. I take forever, so free to do the same. By the way, chat participation is amazing. You guys are so helpful. You're so loving. You're amazing. You guys impress me. Yeah, I'll also be praying for. But it's not life threatening. Baka, you want me to just
Please.
yeah, you want me to continue? Okay, yeah. Take your time. If it comes back to you, feel free to interrupt me. Or write it down. That's what I do. I write it down in chat, but I don't press enter, which I guess is a little bit dangerous. um, so my recommendation is a really perhaps strange one. Okay, if you want to remain positive through something, this is what I recommend. And it's gonna sound somewhat contradictory at first, but once you understand it, you'll understand that it's not. The first thing I want you to think about is this. Baka just said, you know, in order to be positive, kind of look forward to the outcomes you want, right? Be hopeful, that sort of thing. Have positive outcomes, like dial in positive outcomes into your brain, right? Figure out what the positive outcomes are. And then that can help you stay positive as you go through life, or as you go through your journey of this trying time. And if you keep those in mind, then it will inspire hope during those every moment of your trial and keep reminding you to be positive. But I have a different approach on top of that. So this is on top of that, even though it sounds a little contradictory. Okay. I want you to, at first, forget about the positive ending. Don't worry about the positive ending right now. Instead, focus on the current experience and where to go with it to make it a positive experience. Okay. So I've talked a lot about something along the lines of all that guilt, right? And how guilt is a really healthy thing, but guilt can also be a really unhealthy thing. And how you manage the difference of having healthy guilt or unhealthy guilt is simply by means of, when I experience my guilt, I don't let it overcome me and just tell me that I'm rotten, no good, and I don't deserve any better, and I'm just going to sit here in my guilt and shrink in, and when the darkness comes, betray myself, right? If you don't do that, and instead you look at your guilt and you say, what is it trying to tell me that I can improve upon in my life? What's the next step? Now that I know I've done something that I'm worthy of guilt, what can I do to improve myself in that area? And how can I make this a positive thing? Not that what you did is a positive thing, but that moving forward is a positive thing. So if you want a positive outcome, you have to start doing positive things and thinking positive things right now, and how to incorporate them. So example for guilt might be, let's come up with an example. Maybe you have a relationship with someone, and you said some things that were on your mind and you've been holding back for a while, and they're truths, but when you said them, you kind of exploded on them and hurt them, instead of talking about it in a helpful way, right? So instead of going, hey, hey, let's do something positive about this issue, you went full explodo and just said, like, this is your fault and you never do this right, and that's why we're stuck here. Like, you just put blame on them, you accuse them of something rather than talking through it and making your lives better. You just offed the emotion on them, right? So let's say you did that, right? Now, you've done something wrong, you feel guilt, right? Now you can sit there and wallow in your guilt, recognizing you did something wrong. And you might even go, okay, I need to say sorry. So you go there and you say sorry. But you're like, that's not necessarily a positive. It is positive that you said sorry, and it does help build relationships when you experience those hardships and get through them, which isn't a reason to have hardships on purpose, right? Obviously. But obviously that does deepen a relationship when you get through them. That's a positive note. But when you are in your guilt and you recognize, okay, I'm starting to not do anything good with this guilt, I'm starting to use this guilt against myself, I'm going to utilize my guilt to improve myself, right? And so instead of just beating yourself up, you go, okay, yes, I did something wrong. Yes, I need to apologize and reconcile and talk to them about this. Yes, I should have brought this up a while ago. And yes, now I know that when I talk to them about this issue, it matters to me, but also that it can be solved if I go about it the right way instead of just exploding on them, right? You can think about those things. And then you can say, all right, now I'm making a game plan. I don't ever want to be that person ever again. How do I make sure I instill habits in my nature to never do that again, right? It's like, you might come up with answers like, okay, I need to increase humility. How do I increase humility? I don't know. Go to the public bathroom and clean it a few times. Or, do like, there's all sorts of different ones, right? You can do any number of things. Start thinking about others instead of sinking back into my own emotions and exploding eventually. I should be more considerate about other people and less considerate about myself. Recognize they're going through something too, and my exploding on them was obviously not warranted or helpful. So think about others and their experiences and come at them with a peaceful, kind attitude always. Remind myself how I love them before I even speak. As soon as I start to feel like I'm going to explode, I should be like, oh wait, no, I love this person, therefore I don't want to explode on them, and that would make me look bad, and that would make me become a bad person, because that's just continuing the habit, right? All of those are game plans of how to be positive in your upcoming moments, and then you can actually do those game plans and live them out. And those are positive experiences, right? Okay. So what I want you to think about is how do you stay you asked, how do you stay positive when you get kicked in the face over and over? You know, here's what you do. You can look at those things and you recognize them as bad. You can admit that they're bad, right? Or you can admit, you know what? They're not bad. My perspective is bad. My perspective leads me to think that they're bad, but in truth, they're really not that bad. I'm just being weak and intolerant, or I'm just being a sissy, or I'm just being emotional, or I'm just being set in my ways and stubborn. I'm just being whatever, right? That happens. But if you find that, it's like, ooh, that's a huge, huge positive, because now I know something that I can prove myself. What's the game plan? What's the game plan that creates virtue that counteracts that behavior or that sort of thinking, right? So maybe it's myself. Maybe it's myself who is thinking it bad, or maybe it's myself who's created this bad, right? You can do those things. Maybe it's someone else, okay? Maybe someone else has come at you and they've done things to you that are malicious. They're intentionally evil towards you. You know that it was intentional. They know it was intentional, and that was their thing, right? How do you get good out of those? Okay. One, we're just going to point you at self-growth again because it's one of the easiest ones to do. Self-growth. Okay, let's talk about self-growth. Endurance. Can I love them despite that? Now, love doesn't mean allow them into your life and trust them, but can I still act loving to them? Can I still hope for the best for them in their life? If yes, boom. Okay, that's endurance growth. That's heart growth. Awesome. That's the growth of capacity of love. That's a fantastic positive point that I'm getting out of this, right? And then, okay, now let's do plan-oriented stuff. How do I navigate those scenarios going forward? How do I navigate that relationship with that person? Do I cut it off? Because that could be a positivity, getting rid of that toxicity. Do I pursue it more to make an influence on their life or make an influence on the relationship within our lives? It's like a third person in a way. How do I create a better relationship with this person? So, because I have to deal with them every day. We're working the same place, or we go to the same school, or whatever it is, right? It's like, I'm going to have to be around this person, and I'm not going to just quit my classes because there's this person here. I'm not going to do that. How do I endure better and deal with this person better? Also, how do I make this person not my enemy? How do I enter into their lives in such a way that they no longer have a desire to do evil to me? Some people, you're capable of doing that too. Or doing that with, rather, I should say. Others, maybe not, right? Maybe not. But most, okay, I'll say at least 60% of people, at least, if not 80% of people, you can do that. You can enter into a dialogue with this person and create a relationship that is better. Period. Some people, I'll say 20%, maybe higher, you can't improve your relationship with. And that's okay. What's your game plan then? What's your positive game plan, right? Instead of, because what you're going to want to do is go, it's not fair what they did to me. Why would I want to invest my time on this person who is horrible to me? And they're just going to be horrible anyways, no matter what I do or what I say, they're always horrible to me. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to want to go back to that because your brain is to some degree, as a human, designed to find things that you don't like and put blame on things so that you can maybe problem solve, but even more so, just not blame yourself or not have to take responsibility for something that you shouldn't take responsibility for anyways, because it's not your fault that they treated you that way, right? Well, something along that line is a positive way to move forward in that case might be increase my endurance. I should be the kind of person that can take those attacks and roll with them. I should be able to roll with the punches, right? I should be able to just take it and be like, whatever. It's no skin off my back. They got their frustration out, sure. But you know what? I'm not embarrassed. Life continues on. And I can use this to create an even better person in me. And you come up with a game plan for that. Come up with a game plan that's like, they say something mean. How do I react? Okay, if that person ever says something mean to me, here's how I'm going to react. And you set those standards. And then when it happens, you follow your rules. And that's pretty easy because you just said it to yourself. And you find yourself remaining positive because you chose a positive reaction to their negative action. So it can't affect you. It literally, it sort of just washes the emotion. It's like a positive and negatively charged ion coming together and making it neutral, right? It's like just washes it out. And it's like, okay, they were negative to me. I responded with something that's positive, not like positive to their face, like being overly positive and just, there's ways you can like kill them with kindness sort of thing. That can be useful at times and that can be ruthless at times. I don't mean it in the ruthless sense. So obviously it's not okay to reward someone for their bad behavior. If they're being mean to you and you're being kind back, that's not a good situation. That's not a good engagement. That's not a good relationship. That's not a good installation of habits on them or yourself. So you already know how to navigate that, cats, because you're really smart. But my point is, you come up with a game plan that's something like, if they do that to me, I can either A, laugh with them if they're trying to be funny, or B, just be like, hey, that's silly, unnecessary. And I don't really know why you did that. But that's okay. I don't really need to know. I think, yeah, you're fine. I understand. You're probably just having a bad day. And you can say that right out loud to them. And then they'll just be like, they'll say whatever they have to say. And then you can just say, if they say anything else, I'll mostly just not respond and carry on in my life. Now, or you can say, all right, if they engage me that way and I know that maybe this is someone I can have a better relationship with, if they do that to me, I can say, hey, that was kind of odd for you to do. Are you okay? Like, what's going on? Or just be like, hey, did I do something that offended you? Or did I do something like that hurt our relationship? Because I don't really know you that well, but I feel like I must have done something for you to treat me like that. You can say those types of somewhat vulnerable, somewhat accusatory, but honest things out loud. They're positive oriented. As long as you keep them positive oriented to the end of like, hey, let's have a better relationship. You can even be like, hey, I want a better relationship than this. So want to talk about this? Like, do you want to have a conversation? Like, I would do that one. I would say that one and to a stranger. And I'd be like, maybe it's going to be awkward for them. It's not going to be awkward for me. I've planned this out. This is okay for me. Like, this is a normal comfort zone. I just already planned this. And it's like, if they come at me with some weird words, I can just be like, hey, whatever. Is there anything I can do to make this a better relationship? Because this is weird. It's not comfortable. So anyways, yeah, just speak what's on your mind sometimes. But anyways, my point is, I just gave you a bunch of examples. And you can apply them anywhere in your life. So when you are being kicked in the face, let's say, over and over, and that's metaphorically, I hope it's not physically being kicked in the face. If that's the case, please say so. I've got different answers. Number one, walk away or run or just, it's okay. It's okay. There's a such thing as protecting yourself, which will obviously cause some violence, but you're allowed to do that. So anyways, you're getting metaphorically, emotionally, whatever, kicked in the face by life over and over by many different things or whatever, or even like the same person, whatever it is. You can employ this method. The method is simple, and I'll try to spell it out in a way that isn't with a bunch of examples. Navigate each kick in the face with recognizing the positives that come out of it that improve who you are. Focus on those. That moves you in that direction, which is going to create a sense of joy in self, right? It'll create a sense of being proud of who you are, which is important, including if it's just being humbled, right? Find some virtue associated with what you just went through, okay? Even if you're the one who messed up, right? Find the associated virtue, all right? So that's the first positive to look at, is what is the positive improvement that this brings about over time, okay? And the second thing is, what plan do I have that I can act upon today or tomorrow or in the very near future that is a positive thing that builds me towards that better self, or builds me towards that better relationship with this person, or builds me towards, or builds someone else towards a better good, right? It doesn't always have to be about you. It can be someone else. You can be like, wow, this kicked me in the butt, or this kicked me in the face, but I can see it being good with that person if I do these things. And if I act those out, this person will benefit greatly. And now I've turned that around, right? What are you doing? You are literally being positive about all of it. So what is positive? Looking out for the best outcome, looking out for the good. That's essentially it. It's looking out for the good. So look out for the good in what pain gives you. Look out for the good in what the kick to the face gave you. It's pain, but pain is like a, it's like a cost to something valuable, right? It always is, almost always, rather. So what is the pain? What's the associated virtue? And what's the plan, right? What's the positivity? What's the good? What's the good of the pain? What is the good I can bring about? And what is that plan right now that I can start carrying out soon, today, tomorrow, the next day? That's how you remain positive, no matter how many times you get kicked in the face. No matter how many times you get kicked in the face. You follow that plan. Positivity is not with limit. It is limitless. Because then everything that you experience that is painful or worrisome or whatever, you've got a plan and you can act out that plan and it's good. So, I know I took a really long time to explain that, but I feel like I needed to take a long time to explain. And I think you can use that on top of what Baka said, which is simply to know the end game. And if you know the end game and you remain fixated on the end game, stuff in between can be perceived as positive because it all goes towards the end game. Or even if it's something that's like, this is the opposite of the end game, it's getting in my way. It's like, yeah, well, fair enough. But keep your mind on the end game because that's a lot easier to stay positive if you do that than if you get off in the weeds. So, yeah, be future focused. What's the end game? That's important. And then everything else I said. So with all of that, Baka, did you rediscover the words you wanted?
I don't know about rediscovered, but you asked how you can be there for someone who's going through a rough time. One, just be there. Offer a helping hand. Make those negative moments positive by helping and being there. And if they feel like they're bothering you by you helping them, reassure them that you're not. Honestly, the best help is just being there with them through it and helping them wherever you can.
Yep.
It's about it.
Yeah, fair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. That's true. I mean, you know one thing, Baka, I appreciate. Say things concise, and it's like, yeah, that's it. You know, it takes me forever to work out something, but it's really inconcise. No, I won't real leg maneuver you, cats. The only thing I ever real leg maneuver is epic origami giraffes, from the 2000 and I don't know, when was that? 2011s. That's the only thing I real leg maneuver. Perhaps humor and laughter can help. Yeah, mine's being a positive vibe. That's absolutely true. That's a good That's a good response to Miyamoto. There are many things you can do, and I think a lot of times we consider them maybe distractions, and distractions are not good. But that's not always true. Sometimes you do need a good distraction. Sometimes that can be really relieving to just go like, hey, my brain needs some moment to just like rebuild functionality. It's currently getting holes in it because it's focusing on this one thing way too much. By the way, that is a real thing. Neurons shut down when overstimulated. So if you overstimulate yourself with anything, even just a concept, your neurons in that field will eventually start to shut off after a period of time, and they won't function you want them to. So clearing your mind by de-stressing can be super helpful. Or if you do the opposite and you play way too many games, for example, we have way too much entertainment, you can overstimulate that. And then you'll get a bunch of neuron holes. Basically, they're not actual holes, just where your neurons aren't firing even close to optimal. Yeah, those need time to recover from overstimulation. So sometimes you just have to take a break from entertainment. There's all sorts of different things you have to take a break from time. So I would highly recommend. Sometimes when you get kicked in the face a bunch of times, maybe it's about time you need a break. Being kicked in the face. Go do something. It's not going to kick you in the face. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, you need distractions when you're stressed. Yep. But he feels worse if he distracts himself too much. Yep, absolutely. Understand. And we're all different. We all have different ways we have to navigate through this life. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But luckily, we also, as human beings, share a lot of the same stuff, which is great. So, yeah, that's true. That's fine, you know, though. Yeah, it's good to be. Okay. Honestly, I think two things that would be very good to you, cats, is for you to just be there for your partner through it all and allow yourself to feel the feels. And then other thing is gratitude. Oh yeah, absolutely. Miyamoto, well said. Yeah, that's a really good point. Gratitude is huge. If you have a grateful spirit, you can get through about anything. Miyamoto, that is perfect. Gratitude is probably one of the core fundamental facets. There we go, facets of positivity. I mean, if you can find things you're grateful for, like for your partner in general, and you're just generally grateful you have them, even if it can be hard. Now, obviously, this is hard in a different way, but you can also be thankful that they have a body at all that functions and has functioned up to this point with good effect. All sorts of different things. There's so many things to be grateful for. And if you give an overall grateful tone to the majority of your problem, you'll be positive. So the majority of the things that surround most problems in life, that is a weird statement. Weird beginning of a sentence. Are things to be grateful for. The majority of things surrounding our problems in life are things that we ought to be grateful for. Like, for example, I know this is a weird one, but this is what came to my mind. Finances. Let's say you're struggling with your finances, right? Bad finances. And you're like, I'm having financial problems. Like, right. That's good. And you know that. It's good that you know that. Obviously, financial problems are great, but it's good that you know that. What does financial problems mean? It means you have finances in general, which, I mean, maybe you have an apartment and it's hard to pay rent, but hey, at least you have an apartment. You have the goods. You have a system of trade which involves being able to acquire money and then spend money. Unlike a very distant past where we didn't have a such thing as finances, and so like you just, if you weren't producing anything of value, you basically just die, and you don't have a government that will give you a little bit of money to help you buy things, and you don't have like the ability to trade a chicken for I don't know. Well, I guess you usually want to trade something for a chicken because but like you don't have goods to trade, for whatever. But like now in this world we live in, we like, okay, well, I don't necessarily need this this microphone anymore, or for my everyday living. I can sell it and I can sell it to someone who wants it, even if it's not the guy who has chickens, but I can sell it and then I can buy the chickens. Yum. But you get my point. Whenever there's a problem, even in finances, there's a great multitude of things surrounding the nature of that good to be grateful for. You should experience that. And if you can have gratitude like that, if you can recognize the good that surrounds the majority of our, especially first world problems, but even our deeper problems in life, you'll find it easy to be positive through it. Yeah. Yeah, you love your partner more than anything. Absolutely. That's the way to do it. That's good. And I believe you. That's a really great thing. And so it's like, of course, it's easy to be grateful for them. It's easy to be, it's hard to be grateful for cancer. But at the same time, it's grateful that we could even perceive that he had cancer, so that we can also proceed on getting rid of it. And also grateful that he had a body to begin with, and grateful that his legs have helped him to get where he is now, or his arms to get, whatever, right? Obviously it's thyroid cancer, but you get what I'm saying. That he's been able to get where he is now, despite medical problems and so on. And you can be grateful that through it, he tends to be a loving person. You can be grateful that through the cancer, he tends to be taking it on with great strength and charity and kindness, right? And not letting it overtake him emotionally. There are a lot of different things you can be grateful for. And if you can remember that those things exist and to be audibly grateful for them, that's why I love prayer. To be audibly, or at least in your head every day, speaking how you are grateful for blah, 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 blah. Being positive is, well, just being happy in general is far more feasible and graspable than almost anything else. So, Mialado, thank you for saying that. Absolutely a game changer. So, be grateful in your prayers. I mean, a lot of times, it's like they've got cancer. I think a lot of people, when they pray, they're just like, well, please, God, help them. God, that's not good. Please help them. You should also spend a little bit of time in prayer and like, thank you, God. Thank you for this person. Oh my goodness. Thank you for helping us be revealed that he's got cancer. Thank you for blah, 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 right? You've got so much to be grateful for. If you focus on that and you make statements in your mind or out loud about the things you're grateful for every day, helps a lot. Gratitude is scientifically proven to improve mental health and happiness. Absolutely. Well, Baka, I love you, man. Thank you for staying over with me, and thank you for being here with me. Do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah. I find that managing an issue or a rough spot in life is best if you don't overblow the issue out of the water. It's like, in your case, it's stage 1 cancer, thyroid cancer. It's not a horrible thing. It's not the best thing, but focusing on it like it's a smaller issue just managing time around it would be a better way to not have as much stress about it,
That's brilliant.
and then just not making it a greater issue than it is.
Yeah. Yeah. See, you're so precise. That's perfect, man. That is so true. That is so true. Agree with that, man. Thank you. Well said. All right. Well, we started 15 minutes late, and now it's 10 p.m. for me. It means it's 5 minutes and 2 hours, but past the normal time that we put down. So I think we're good. Thank you, Cats, and thank you, Pear, both of you, for the topics today. I hope that it was helpful. Cats, please let me know in the chat maybe, or as the days go by, if you employ any of the methods that we spoke about, how that goes, how the positivity, or good focused on literally, I mean, what is positivity, but goodness, focused on the good, right? But just to, yeah, anyways, tell us how that goes. If you are able to carry it out, and what you find. You're important, and I'd like you guys to say. Pear, same to you. However things go, you feel free to DM me or catch up next time. We're on Don't Worry Wednesday. And but with that, thank you everybody in the chat. You guys are so awesome and so kind, and an amazing community. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Baka, as well, for stepping up to the plate and covering. Help make the show a show. You're awesome. All right, guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening/day. And yeah, I wish you the best, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.